Hey knitters, welcome back to Aro Knits and Purls. As always, I'm your host, Aro of Aro Knits and Purls. As always, you can find my Ravelry, Instagram, Ko-Fi, Patreon, linked in the description below, as well as links to any dyers, makers, and designers that I talk about in this episode. And there will be lots because I have so much to talk about. It's a very exciting time. I feel very frenetic. But it's good that I feel high energy. It has been a difficult transition period from winter to spring to suddenly summer. And suddenly summer relates to what I'm wearing, which is usually how I like to start my episodes. So what I am wearing is a Give Me the Tea, tea spelled like T-E-E, as in like t-shirt. So Give Me the Tea by Jenny Ansah. I was very, very lucky to be part of the secret test knit group for this design before it was included in the published 52 weeks of Easy Knits. 52 weeks of Easy Knits, if you guys haven't heard about it for some reason. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous knit pattern book. It's hardcover, full of, like you would expect, 52 designs of really beginner-friendly, accessible knits. And if you are a very experienced knitter, don't let that put you off, because it's really, like, I like to have an easy pattern to build off of. You could incorporate cabling, you could incorporate lace. Like, obviously there will be a little bit of math involved if you want to do that, but for me, I like a build it yourself kind of pattern. And 52 weeks of Easy Knits is a lovely way to have like a really basic building block. And I love my tea, that's why I'm wearing it today, and also because it's so suddenly hot in Salt Lake City. Like really, it was just a span of a week and suddenly it's summer. So I had to break out my summer knits. This was in Dyed by Hand yarn. They're an Australian-based yarn dyer, and the only reason I got it was because Knit Stars, I talked about in last episode, Knit Stars in Tulsa, Oklahoma was carrying it in their Hot Loops wall for a bit, so I got their silk base, which is 50 silk, 50 merino, and lovely to work with. I became obsessed with getting my hands on more silk yarn after this, but yeah, I really love it. And like I said, I was part of that secret test knit group. It's not like a secret society, it's not that fancy, but for those of you who don't know how that works, so regular test knitting is when you are selected by the designer to participate in the test knit group. And what that means is that you get an advanced copy of the pattern. It won't be a finalized pattern. Your job is to read through the pattern, knit the pattern in your size, and let the designer know any feedback that they request. Usually, you know, how much yardage did you use? What kind of yarn did you use? You know, because the amount of yarn you use can depend on the type of yarn, like fiber content that you used. And then things like, did the math make sense? Does it fit right? Is there anything odd you noticed about the instructions, grammatical things, basic things like that? Basically, you're proofreading the instructions of a design. Being part of a secret test knit group is that you get a very advanced copy of the design, but you can't talk about it, you can't post about it. Some designers have different rules when it comes to being in their secret test group. They'll be very clear about their instructions, and if you're not clear about what is or isn't allowed in your test knit group, it is always a good idea to ask the designer. I promise you won't be bothering them. It's always a good idea to ask. But as a part of this test knit group, so secret test knits are usually for publications. They want to test it and get the pattern finalized before the pattern goes into a book, which is then published. So it's very important that things be correct and on time. And that's why they happen so far in advance. Like the time that I knit this and the time to when it actually came out in the book was probably a period of 6 months. So that's just for you guys to understand when I say secret test knit. It's not anything super fancy, it's just that's the term. And I will say, I loved this design, wear it all the time. I don't know why I keep signing up for secret test knits, because when I made this, I was like, oh guys, I have something so cute and I want to show it to you and I want to talk about it, but I can't, like mum's the word, because I am a person who likes sharing my happiness, my sorrows, and everything in between, which is to say, I have a loud mouth. I don't like to keep secrets. But I keep signing up for these secret test knits, so I have to keep the secret because I will not betray confidence. But it's really aggravating that I do this to myself because literally right next to me right now is a very, very cute design, and I'm so excited about it, and I can't talk about it. So I will be able to share it with you guys probably in 6 months, but I promise it's so cute. I've been working on a lot, and it's so cute. Like, I did not need to do it as quickly as I did, but I was so in love with this design that's how quickly I like rushed through it because I just could not put it down. Okay, that's all to say. It's suddenly summer. I'm wearing my Give Me the Tea, and we're gonna start talking now. Okay, so the last time I recorded, it was right before my friend Andrea came to visit, Andrea the Knitting PT, and it was so fun, you guys. At the end of this episode, I will have, you know, a few minute clip of me knitting with my best friends in the world, Megan and Andrea. And I think it'll just be a nice feeling for you guys to feel like we're in a knitting circle, and there you are. We're all just knitting and enjoying coffee, and it's gonna be nice. But okay, so that's gonna be at the very end. But anyway, we had so much fun. She was only in town for 48 hours, and my God, was it a full 48 hours. We did stay home and knit a lot, but we also went out and did a lot, and it was just so fun. I hope she had as good of a time as I did because it really was a blast. Like, she stayed at my place for the two nights she was here, and it was really like a slumber party. I had a blast. And I took her class, the Knitting PT. She's on YouTube, Instagram. She puts out wellness reels where she talks about stretches you can do and strengthening exercises you can do to make sure that you are making in line with your body and that you can make for a long period of time with minimized pain. And I think that's really important because, like I said last episode, as I am getting older, I am feeling the cost of making. I never used to experience this before. So to my younger audience, you are not going to understand what I'm talking about because I was like you. I had no idea what people meant when they said that their hands started hurting after they knit for a long time. Because that, to me, I just had never experienced it. But I think last year and this year is the first time where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm really, doesn't feel great. But Andrea taught a class at Seed Stitch, a local yarn store here, and it was really helpful. I learned a lot of things because obviously you'd think that like Andrea is one of my best friends, I could ask her anything, but in a class setting it's really great because she had a really great flow and she had a really great structure. She was able to answer questions, walk through and like watch people make and see what they were doing. I learned a lot of things, like the reason why my forearms and wrist hurt so much when I make is because I've told you guys this before, someone told me, and it's been corroborated by many people in my life, I tend to knit like a serial killer. Like I knit aggressively fast and hard. That's just how I knit. That's just how I knit. And like when I do that, when I really get into it, one, it's a repetitive motion, but two, like I do a lot of deviation. And to learn more about what this is, you can either Google it or you could take a lovely class from Andrea, the Knitting PT. And she is trying to make like a real habit of going to yarn stores. So if you have a local yarn store, you should suggest that they reach out to the Knitting PT. She has a website, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, all that stuff. So please check her out. If you're a local yarn store owner, you should call her or email her, because it was a great class. Even I, who have been knitting a lot, and I do have some medical background. I was a CNA and then an EMT, basic EMT, nothing like a paramedic. But yeah, so I did that stuff. So I have some medical background, and even then, like I learned so much in her class. So it was really helpful and very interesting. But yeah, so it was a great experience and a lot of fun. But yeah, the pain thing is like it used to be in this wrist, now it's in this forearm. I think I need to take a break, but I keep piling on more and more on top of my workload and knit load, and I don't know why I keep doing this to myself other than the fact that I love to do it, but here we are. Okay, so I promised you guys last time I would talk about the blankets that I've made, and I've made a lot of blankets. Most of them were gifted away, but I did hold on to 3 very special blankets for me. I might gift more of them away, but we will see. So the first one I'm going to show you, I can pull them out from the pile of things I have. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is this lacy blanket. So this one is called the Immie Blanket, I-M-M-I-E, Immie. And it's this gorgeous knit lace pattern. And actually this, I'll show you after the next one. Okay, so the yarn for this one is Malabrigo Rios. Malabrigo Rios, if you guys don't know, it is a commercial yarn. It's a commercial yarn that's very famous for having inconsistent skeins because it is like hand kettle dyed, I'm pretty sure. I know it's hand dyed, but it might be kettle dyed, so it tends to fluctuate very wildly between batches. Even if you get the same dye lot, it can vary wildly. But I was really lucky in this one because there's really not a lot of odd pooling. It helps if you get a consistent dark color, I found. I just got really lucky with this one because I do know that a lot of Malabrigo Rios projects aren't as lucky as mine, and there's like significant pooling, very obvious. But you can see the lace design here. This design has been incorporated in a lot of things, but the design that I used, the Immie blanket, the Immie baby blanket, is by Carrie Bostick Hoge. Actually, or Hoge, H-O-G-E. It'll be in the description below, which is my usual cop-out for everything. But all 3 of the blanket designs that I'm about to show you as finished objects are from Carrie Bostick Hoge. We're just gonna assume it's Hoge now. But yeah, so this one, I didn't follow it to pattern. What I like to do with blankets is I don't check gauge with blankets. I really don't think it's that important because it's not like I'm trying to make a fitted sheet. I don't need it to fit specific dimensions. You know, if a blanket's a little small, great, it's a lap blanket. If a blanket's a little big, great, it's cozy. You know, I personally don't find it that important. And often what I will do is I'll take the repeat of the design, and then just cast on more stitches to fit the design. I know for a fact that's what I did with this and the next one, but it is quite large for a baby blanket. Too small to be like on a proper queen size bed, but for a twin, I think it would be like a good footrest kind of thing. Yeah, it's really cute though. The color isn't really very me anymore. So I'm thinking of gifting this to a baby in my life so that I can make the same design because I really do love this pattern. I want to make the same one, but in a color that speaks to me more now. And then the next one, also again by Carrie Bostick Hoge, is the Camilla blanket. The Camilla blanket, I really love this because the dramatic fan, like the fan lace design, this is such an easy knit. Honestly, this one is easier to do just on site and repetition than this one was. This one was also beautiful. The Immie was beautiful, but it did require me to look at a chart often. Whereas this one, you just count the eyelets and that's how you remember. It's a very easy pattern, very easy. And I really like it. I also went bigger than the pattern suggested on this one. This yarn is Madeline Tosh Vintage, so Mad Tosh Vintage, which is a worsted weight, and the colorway is Glazed Pecan. It's this gorgeous, rich, orangey brown. I love it. I will never give this up. I love this thing so much. If I have a child one day, it will go to that child, but until then, it is mine, and I love it. Actually, both of these designs were incorporated into a book by Carrie Bostick Hoge, and it's this book, Matter. So Matter has done like a couple anthologies, I think, maybe 2 or 3, but this one was the first one, and I love this pattern book. I have knit a lot of stuff out of it. One of my favorite summer knits ever is actually based on, well, if I can find it. So the Imogen Tea, it's this lace panel is what's on the Immie blanket that I just showed you, but the Imogen Tea, I did mine in linen, and it's gorgeous. I think I've worn it in an episode. Yeah, in the episode Summertime Hand Knits, That's the one I wore, and I love it. The Imogen is a really great pattern in my opinion. And so the Anthology, I've knit a ton of patterns out of this. I really love it. It's still one of my favorite knit books to date. Yeah, I highly recommend it. But both of these designs came from that. And I love these blankets. I do want a different color because purple isn't my color anymore, but it's cute. So those are 2 blankets. And then the last blanket designed by Carrie Bostick Hoge I'll show you is my ultimate heirloom. I really hope I do procreate, because if not, I will have no one to give this to when I am gone, and it is a crowning achievement. This is big enough for a twin size bed easily, but possibly even a queen. This is the Two Lights blanket by Carrie Bostick Hoge, and it's this gorgeous little chevron pattern. Like you can see it in this light there. Yes. It's kind of hard to see on camera. I'm trying my best here. It's hard to see on camera, but it's really alternating like knits and purls to get this chevron design. And it is done up in Blue Sky Extra, which is 55% baby alpaca and 45% fine merino. So this ginormous beast is baby alpaca merino blanket. It is very precious to me. It took me forever. And I will say I'm really glad that I made it when I was a lot younger, because it was so heavy. Like, this thing is massive, you guys. Massive. It's more than my wingspan. Definitely more than my wingspan. And so it's massive, and when it's on circular needles, it's very heavy. So I'm really glad I did it when I was younger and my wrists could handle that kind of stress, because I think if I tried it now, there's no way. Although I did learn some really good tricks about how to mitigate that kind of pain from Andrea. So, another plug for her. I don't want to go sharing her state secrets. No, I'm kidding. She probably has talked about it before, but basically if I was going to knit something that heavy again, I would want like a table that I could just drape all the stuff on, a table kind of at chest level, so that way I don't have to lift it as much with my wrists, because the weight of the fabric on the needles is what would drag down my wrists and really pain them. But yeah, this thing is an ultimate heirloom. It was kind of a bucket list item that I wanted to make, because it was a luxury yarn, very luxury for me back then because I was still a student, and just massive, the biggest thing I've ever knit in size ever. And I do know that this will be passed on even if I don't procreate. I have nieces and nephews, so, but I love this thing so much. And that is the 3rd blanket that I still have. I've knit a lot of things like the chevron blanket from Purlsoho. I've done, just like simple garter stripe ones, but I really love single color blankets, or like transitional blankets like the one I'm working on. I showed you guys this in progress, and I told you this was really just going to be my like go-to to work on whenever I run out of things. This is the Pocketful of Posy. It is 2-color brioche, and I haven't made a lot of progress on it, if all. I think I did like a few rows after I showed it to you guys, but really it's one of those that I'm just gonna go back to every once in a while for years to come. But that one, Pocketful of Posy, 2-color brioche, is also by Purlsoho. And that's what these will all become. And I'm really excited about it, because it will definitely be the lightest weight blanket I will have ever made, because I've never done a fingering weight blanket before. I would have scoffed at the idea years ago, or even 2 months ago, but here we are. I'm really excited about it still. In fact, I think this is going to be the photo for this episode. I'm just gonna throw them down because there's no way I'm wrangling these again. Okay, so those are the blankets. A new blanket that I do want to make is this thing that's been peeking at you guys this entire time. This is the Cosmonaut Blanket by We Are Knitters. I have not worked with We Are Knitters cotton before, and they reached out and asked if I just wanted to try it. And I have been wanting to branch out more into cotton because you guys know I've talked about it. I tend to not like cotton because a lot of cotton yarns feel very dry in my hand and it doesn't make me feel good to work with it. So I was interested in this, especially in this really pretty mosaic blanket. So that stitch pattern is called Mosaic Knitting, and it doesn't actually require, I don't think it's very difficult at all. I've read a pattern a while back, but it wasn't difficult. It's just an interesting technique that you can use. And it looks really pretty, right? It looks really pretty. But here's one of the cotton yarns outside of the little box. So this is We Are Knitters the cotton. It is 100% Peruvian Pima cotton. So cotton, Pima cotton I found is softer than just regular 100% cotton. The 100% cotton I found is what leaves that dry feeling. And for me, who's very texture focused, it's very difficult for me to work with it. Like it makes me want to dunk my hands in Vaseline. Like that's how dry it makes me feel. And I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but it makes sense to me. So that's what I'm gonna go with. But I've been touching this a lot since I got it. The We Are Knitters 100% Peruvian wool Pima cotton, like it feels good. It feels really good. It doesn't feel as liquidy as bamboo, if that makes sense. If you've never held bamboo yarn, you're gonna think like I have lost my dang mind saying that, but bamboo yarn feels slick. It feels way too flexible, in my opinion. For garments, I don't like to work with bamboo because it stretches so much that the garment will lose shape immediately. It's good for like beach wraps because you kind of want that drapey look, but for anything else, for a normal garment like this, if I did it in bamboo, it would be a shapeless mess. Merino wool, the most common wool I think for knitters, merino tends to retain shape very well. Silk has some give to like bamboo, but I think bamboo is the most givey to me. And cotton also doesn't retain as much shape as merino, but I think it's definitely got more structure than bamboo or silk. So this will be a good chance for me to play around with cotton more because I don't want to just write it all off. If I want to try out more like environmentally friendly yarns that don't use any acrylic or things like that, I want to try more cotton. And this feels nice, I will say. I was very surprised by how nice it felt. And there is a sheen on it, but it's not overpowering. That's another issue I have with bamboo. Often I find it looks too shiny. It looks too shiny, it's too slick. I don't like the feeling or the look, so then I never want to wear anything. Yeah, I tried bamboo many years ago and it just wasn't for me. So I don't intend on going back to it unless someone comes up with a crazy blend that I would be willing to try, but until then, But like I said, We Are Knitters cotton, I've been very pleasantly surprised. So I think if you have a wool allergy or you want more summer fibers, this might be a very good cost-effective alternative for you guys to try if you wanted. Yeah, so that's the blanket kit I got. And let's talk about whips. I haven't even talked about my whips. Oh my goodness. So whips, I've mainly been working on the secret one that I can't show you and I can't talk about it other than to say it's very cute. I can't even say who it's by. It's very cute, but that's it. Moving on to the other whips. I finished the sleeve of my Cozy Community by Alicia Plummer test knit. I finished a sleeve, but I'm actually gonna go back to like halfway because I didn't follow the pattern. I didn't do the sleeve decreases, and I regret not doing the sleeve decreases because the way that the waffling works, my thought process was, well, I don't want to do anything to interrupt the waffle pattern. But it's written to decrease sleeves because what happens with the waffle pattern is that it doesn't come in at all, obviously. If I'm not decreasing, it's not going to come in, and it actually looks very like it looked very frumpy on my arm without any shaping. So I'm going to go back and decrease along the bottom of the sleeve so that it does cinch in and look a little bit more clean, because on, like the sweater on, it looks really cute. It looks so cute, and I love the way that the rib is contiguous from the neck all the way down. I just love that look. I love that about waffle Henleys. So there are some waffle Henleys that have like the continuous rib, and it just looks so good. And I wanted that in a knit sweater, so I was really excited about the Community Cozy by Alicia Plummer, and that's why I signed up. It's just, I really need to decrease sleeves, and I didn't. So I will go back and do that again before I start the second sleeve. So that's one whip I'm so close to finishing. And then the other whip that I'm also close to finishing, this is my Clove sweater by Rachel Kurihara. This is not a test. I was in the test knit group for the Clove sweater originally, but that has been almost 2 years now. And it's one of my favorite sweater knits. It's a very flattering design. I wear it all the time, so I wanted another one, and now I'm using it, this really aggressive pink yarn for it. I'm following exactly the pattern. I haven't changed anything at all. I love it. I'm so close to finishing. I'm just about to do the ribbing on this first sleeve, and I'm really excited that it's almost done. Because guys, this pink, like, this could stop traffic. It could stop air traffic. You could see it from a plane. It's so bright. Yeah, much less a car on the road. Shoosh. Yeah, but I love this thing so much. I cannot wait to wear it. Probably not for a while because it's so hot, but I can't wait to finish it, really, is what I should say. So that's another whip. And then the last whip I'll show you is related to this very exciting news. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard, but Unit 2 is a store in Canada, yarn store. And they also published this with Lane Publishing. It's called Making Memories. Hashtag Making Memories book is the hashtag you should use to look at these designs. But like, my gosh, you guys. So this is a book of like kids sizes, like children and babies. There are multiple sizes, so it's really good if you have like a child in your life. Like, this photos are so cute. The patterns are adorable. And actually a lot of these designs, if you look on their website, have adult sizes available, which I think is really cool because I love the idea of a mommy and me. Like, I don't even have children, but I love the idea of making matching clothes with a child. And that leads me to what I am making. Like, come on, you guys, it's so cute. It's so cute. There's something about children's knits. It's so precious. But Unit reached out and gave me a copy of their book for me to participate in the Catedral. So Catedral is cathedral without the H. But it is, let me find a picture of. It is this pullover. There is an adult version of it as well. And so they asked me to make the adult version, and I was so happy to, but then I started thinking about it. So Sterling, my boyfriend, has 2 younger brothers, and they are both having babies literally weeks apart. And I was like, could I possibly be the coolest aunt in the world and make matching sweaters? So what I'm planning is I'm going to make myself a cathedral as part of that knit along beginning June 9th. So if you want a copy of the pattern, if you want to participate, I highly recommend you go to their website. Yeah, get a copy of the pattern, get a copy of this book. It's adorable. But yeah, so I'm going to make an adult version for me, and then I'm going to make 2 little baby sweaters, and then 1 sweater for Sterling's niece that's already born. She's 2 now. She just turned 2 last month. So yeah, all 3 babies and Auntie Aro in matching sweaters. It will be precious. So dang cute. And because I know that the knit along doesn't start until the 9th, June 9th, I know that. But I literally could not stop myself from starting one because I figure I'm making 3 more. So it's gonna be 1 for baby, 1 for baby number 2, 1 for toddler, 1 for me. I'm gonna make 4 of these ultimately. So what does it hurt if I start 1 already? And this is what I started. This is what I've got so far. And I will say, baby sweaters are so cute and so fast. Like, I did all this in less than 2 afternoons. Like, I just need to do the yoke now. I've already started the little lace section. It's so cute, you guys. Look at their little arms. This is the smallest size. This is probably freaking out the lighting that I keep changing the curtains, but this uses Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino. Heavy Merino is 100% merino, traceable, all that good stuff. OEKO certified. Yeah. So this is the colorway Putty, or Powder, pardon me. Yeah, colorway Powder. It's this really soft, dusty oatmeal beige. So the babies will have beige sweaters because the toddler that's already here, it's a girl. And then the 2 babies to come in the fall are little baby boys. So I figure this powder is a very neutral beige. So all 3 little babies in beige, and then me, probably pink. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited. Like, I cannot stand how cute this is. I can't wait to make more of them, and my size as well. And again, the knit along starts June 9th. I'm so excited. I've really been bit by the knit along bug, because my friends and I are even talking about hosting a knit along. I won't comment on it more than that. We're thinking about it. We haven't totally decided all the details yet, but I'm really excited. There's something about the idea of, I think, so when I started this channel, it got really big really quickly and very unexpectedly for me. And I had to do a lot of backtracking because at first I wanted to be super accessible to everybody, but it got a lot. And I had difficulty kind of maintaining my own boundaries and keeping enough time and space in my life for me and the people I care about in person. So it's taken some reworking and a lot of thinking about how I can protect my space, which is to say I've kind of stepped back a lot. I feel more disconnected and I miss that connection that I initially had. Some days I think about just like deleting everything and starting over with just a small group to kind of get that feeling back. But I don't want to do that because I still like doing this. I like talking to you guys. It's just I can't talk to you guys as much as I would want because I still have a full-time job. I still have, other obligations. So yeah, all that to say, I want to do a knit along to kind of get that feeling back of like a community making together that I used to enjoy so much. So yeah, keep your ears out for that. Once I start finalizing everything, I will announce more in the future, but I'm really excited. And then the last things that I wanted to talk about is just yarn. I always save the yarn for the end, and it's a good thing I waited till the end because there's quite a bit. This isn't new, but I do want to remind you guys, it's almost June. And do you know what June is? 1, it's Pride Month, but 2nd, it's Camellia Fiber Pride Month. And that to me is so important. I won't say more important because as someone who identifies as a member of the LGBTQ community, it's very important to me. But Camellia Fiber, she's a lovely dyer, Sylvia of Camellia Fiber. She's a lovely dyer, and every June she does this rainbow sprinkle colorway. And every June, it's so dang cute. Part of the proceeds go to the Trevor Project, and that's a cause I care about. And the colorway is just so cute. Rainbow sprinkles, like come on. This one is actually magic rainbow sprinkles, and you're asking, Ara, what's the difference between regular rainbow sprinkles and magic rainbow sprinkles? Magic rainbow sprinkles is neon reactive, so like UV reactive. So if I go in black light with this yarn, like the little speckles will light up like UV lighting. I have a sweater made in the regular rainbow sprinkles. I've shown it a lot. I've worn it a lot to you guys. If you want to see, go back to earlier episodes, probably around June. But this one, I have a sweater quantity of this. This is worsted, and I want to use this to make one of my Rhinebeck sweaters this year. I think it's the Cargill by the Cray Bear. I'm obsessed with that design. One of my followers turned friends, Crizel Knits, she did like I inspired her to buy rainbow sprinkles, and then she used that to make the Cargill by Crayabea, and that in turn inspired me to think back on my life and think about why I didn't do that, because it's so cute. It's this gorgeous pattern that has this almost like dip stitch looking thing. I don't actually know if it is a dip stitch. I haven't bought the pattern yet. But anyway, I'm completely obsessed. I have been obsessed ever since I saw her make that. So Crizel, I hope you know you live in my head, rent free. Yeah, I love it. And that's what this is gonna become. It's gonna be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters, and I have to do it because I think I talk about the Camellia Fiber doing her Rainbow Sprinkles Pride color every year because it is my favorite. I cannot get enough of it. And I did ask her before, like a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, are you bringing that back? Because I kind of really want more. And she's bringing it back. So keep your eyes out for June. June, a wonderful time when you can get rainbow sprinkles. And maybe magic rainbow sprinkles. I don't know if she'll bring back the magic. But even regular rainbow sprinkles, you guys, chef's kiss. It's so good, okay? So, June. And then other yarn. So, Stress Knits, Stacey Yellowstone. She has family reasons to step back from knitting, and I think I've talked about it before, and I completely understand, and I am supportive, but I will miss her terribly because her yarn is so pretty. So this is the colorway Palm Lines. Palm Lines is the gentlest pink, and I managed to get in her very last update, this sweater quantity of Surrey. It is so beautiful. I kind of want to just save it for what it represents, which is some of the final work of a dyer I adore. Like, she doesn't expect to come back for at least a couple years to dyeing because of her work and family demands. And again, I totally understand that. She is so talented. She deserves, and she's so nice. She's so sweet. She actually has a YouTube too, so you should check it out. Say Stacey Yellowstone. Love her. But yeah, like Palm Lines is this gorgeous color. And it breaks my heart that she won't be dyeing for a while, but it's so pretty. Yeah, so actually I only got this one sweater quantity, and right now I'm gonna throw some real quick shade at my friend Megan, because that woman got like 4 or 5 sweater quantities. And you guys, you have no idea, like I was sweating for this update because I knew this would be like one of my last opportunities, right? So I was literally like sweating as I was refreshing the page before the update went live, and Megan was too. And then at the end of it, like 10 minutes later, I was like, whew, did you get something you wanted? And Megan's like, haha, yeah, a few things. And I was like, what does that mean? And then like as the weeks went on, she's like, haha, yeah, it might have been more than just like a few things. And I was like, what does she mean more? And she got a lot. She got a lot. So that's just my quick little shout out to my bestie, Megan. Love you. Yeah, and if you guys notice, that's how I impersonate her. That is actually very close to how she sounds. I haven't decided whether or not the video I'll incorporate at the end, you know, where we're all knitting together. I haven't decided whether I'll keep sound or not. But I think if I did, you would hear her voice and you'd be like, oh, yeah, that was accurate. That was very accurate. Good job, Aro. Thank you. Because I think it is. And then next couple of things are from Woolbury. So Woolbury Collectives. I believe this one was it was March, and this one was April's color, or maybe the other way around. I can't remember. But either way, they're both really pretty. So this one is Sweatshirt. Sweatshirt is a lovely, cool gray. I got this on her regular Berry DK base, which is 100% superwash merino. And then this bad boy is Morning Hike, that's the colorway, on her Berry Tweed DK, which is 85% merino tweed, or merino, 85% merino, and then 15% neps. I used to think they were called nubs because like these things are so nubby. But for those of you who weren't around for the Brooklyn Raglan fiasco, I only call it fiasco because other people seem to disagree with my life choices. And that is to say, I like the look of tweed, okay? I like the look. But when you knit it up, when you knit up the fabric just like this, it's a little too tweedy.
it's a little too tweedy. I would like tweed light, diet tweed, if you will. So when I work on a tweed project, I will pull out a few of the little nubs, a few. Actually, I pull out a lot. Like, it's actually kind of hysterical because Andrea also has a Brooklyn Raglan in tweed, and hers next to mine looked just night and day, totally different, covered in nubs, mine diet nubs, hint of nubs, and that's what I like. Actually, I should really make my next tweed project, and the Ravelry project page will be called Hint of Nubs. Yeah, I think I've just done it. Yeah, you know, I do hate that field on Ravelry where you have to come up with the project name. I'm like, just use the name of the pattern, just use that. But Hint of Nubs is just so good, I have to use it now. So that'll be what the next project with this is, Hint of Nubs. Just keep an eye out. But anyway, morning hike. It's so pretty. It's this silvery green, and I know Bethany is really good at describing colors and writing, because oftentimes what you see on your screen, whether it's a laptop or a computer or phone, whatever, they can vary because of, you know, the pixels, the lighting of the room, all that stuff. So it can vary, but she's very good at describing it. And silvery green is what she described it as, and that is what I am seeing. Like, if you saw this in person, you'd be like, that's 10,000% right. It's such a beautiful color. I kind of wish I had gotten more. Like, I want 2 sweater quantities, actually. No, I won't say that because it's a jinx. But anyway, yeah, if she brings it back, I will definitely get another sweater quantity because it is so pretty. It's also a very masculine color too. So if you wanted a men's sweater, also a great option. Or just an androgynous one. I think I'll actually make another Brooklyn Raglan because I love mine and I want a more fitted option too. And I think this colorway would be really great for it, especially for me to have another tweedy project, Hint of Nubs. And then the last yarn I will show you is this stuff. So I don't think I showed this to you before. If I did, I don't know why I wouldn't have put it away. But this is from Sunday Fiber Co. I have talked about Sunday Fiber Co. a lot. She's based in Canada. Love her. Elise, sweet, very, very sweet human. And this is her organic worsted base. It's 100% organic merino wool using eco superwash. Not all superwash is created equal. There are different techniques to what we call as an umbrella term superwash, and some of them are more environmentally friendly than others. So this is using more environmentally friendly processes to make it superwash. And this is the colorway Twilight. It is this beautiful pinky beige. I think I'm going through a pinky beige moment. Like, I know I showed you guys the Nutcracker colorway by Explorer Knits last time, and the time before that, just because I love it so much. But it's this, that's lighter, that's darker than this is, and this is just like a hint of pinky beige. And this colorway is cannoli, like the mascarpone filling of a cannoli. It uses mascarpone, right? Otherwise, every Italian person I know is gonna be really mad at me. I'm like 99% sure. It doesn't, does it use ricotta? I'm having a moment. I feel like Paul Hollywood of Great British Bake Off fame is just like screaming at me. I cannot remember whether it's ricotta filling or I think it's ricotta. This totally got derailed because I am having a crisis of faith about what the cannoli filling is, and I'm sorry, but this is my podcast, and if you are still here, oh my God, I've been talking for a long time. Yeah, anyway, Sunday Fiber Co. She's really great at dyeing. Now I'm really embarrassed and I wish I could edit more. Yeah, that's the episode. If you are still around after that embarrassing moment, you'll see the video of me and my friends knitting right now. Bye. We won't have salad.
The real business. We are over here fiddling with strands.
Remember, Andrew, people are going to see you actually knit, so you gotta...
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bring that head back, girl. I see that going forward.
Toking. I was like, give me those chin
going
tucks. You drop and give me chin tucks.
That's so good. I love hanging out with y'all.
This is so
Rhinebeck's gonna be so good.
Yes.
We're gonna go to Woollen Folk, pick some apples. It's gonna be a blast.
I'm excited.
Get some pretty pictures of the leaves.
Yep.
Because I will say, it changes here beautifully too, because the aspen tree's been on hold, but it doesn't get red. I miss the red and orange.
It's hit or miss, and there's just like only a few places that do it, and it's, I mean,
I
it's
missed
short.
it last year.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
was in Korea.
Yeah. What I'm maddest about my house is we have no trees that turn red.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta plant them.
We cannot pelt those. We have like 50 fucking trees out there, honestly.
Unrelatable problems.
I have one very large tree on my yard. Probably needs to come down. It's like very old.
Well, then you can plant another tree.
We did. We planted another one first, but you know, obviously it's very tiny compared to my 50-year oak in the back.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm really glad that the Merkle has this like construction because it has some neck shaping and
The Merkle?
Merkle, what did I say?
You said Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn, Merkle. But this one has it. Because now I, like it, hopefully I'm like, oh, I can remember this if I want to just make something like this. Next time I want to mod something.
Yeah, no, I love the fit of the Merkle. You should have tried on my Merkle. You have it before, right?
No, I haven't.
I mean, well, we'll go home later.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. The same face.
Yep. Wildwood. That's like,
Oh my god, we
she's going
can really be triplets.
Yes.
Y'all, bring it to Rhinebeck.
Yeah, and then we'll
Okay.
style our own ways. I'll wear my overalls.
Yeah, you wear your
That would look so
overalls.
cute.
I'll have a mini skirt.
Lilac she's trying on.
Oh my
Those
god,
would
that would
look
look so cute. Oh.
I was like, I can see that now.
I really like it. I kept looking at that picture yesterday.
Those are so
I'm just
cute.
gonna keep my eye out for sale.
Sales.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
yes.
probably, on their website, if you go, they probably have like a 15% off.
Oh right.
Which brand is it
They
again?
sign everything
Carhartt?
else. Yeah.
Also
Carhartt.
try the secondhand like site.
Oh okay. Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
a good point.
Like, it's a lot better about buying secondhand. I'm like, TJ Maxx, TJ Maxx.
Well, you know, when it's $200, you're like, maybe
TJ
I
Maxx,
can
TJ
wait.
Maxx. You don't find it, you have bad luck.
The hilarious thing is Ben was buying stuff from Carhartt recently because they have like all the construction
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So he's buying for fishing, and I'm like,
Fishing, yeah.
why are you buying Carhartt for? Because the only thing I knew about was the rich moms in Austin who were the
Oh,
beanie
no,
hat.
no,
really?
not the beanie hat. Yeah, the like rich hipsters have co-opted it, kind of like,
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
Carhartt's like actually one of those real hardware.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
no.
that because all
No,
I saw
Ken-
was the weird fucking shaped beanie
the
things on their
stupid
heads.
peanut
Yeah.
shaped heads.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes.
hate it. It's really big right now, and I hate
Yeah,
it.
it's really big in the rich Austin mom.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
he used to drive Ken crazy. He's like, Carhartts are not cute and trendy. It's supposed to be for working people. And I'm like, what would you know about working people?
I was like, so you shouldn't be wearing them. Give them back. Take those off right now.
But he did get a Carhartt vest for the dog Beans, and it was actually super fucking cute.
Oh, they have a dog one?
They had a dog vest.
That's
It was so cute. And because Beans is like a rugged looking dog, it was just, he was very photogenic. I miss that dog. He was so dumb now.
Frijoles or
Frijoles.
whatever it is.
He renamed them to
Oh, yeah.
Doritos or Fritos.
Fritos. I was like, what was
Yeah.
it called?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he took the Spanish translation of beans, frijoles, to
yes.
Fritos.
He rebranded.
Whereas my dog Butters, I like to call her Spanish name, Ataquilla, because it's so sexy. It's a sexy word. Whereas the French version is burr. It just doesn't sound as good.
You're like, he is silent.
The two E's are silent.
It's not Burry Blanc.
I was like, buere.
So you should say next time you go to a fancy restaurant.
Buere.
Whoever is Blanc.